Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Yahweh is the true name of Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God. And Yahweh Shai is the true name of the Heavenly Father's Son, the Son of Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. I want to give double honors to my apostles and to my elders of Great Millstone, who I learned this truth from. And peace and blessings goes to the hopeful elect, my brothers that are out on the highways pushing his word and his truth in sincerity. In today's lesson, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. But in today's lesson, I have a few scriptures that I want to bring out in this article that, of course, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just want to, skim through this article to show you that there's a lot of tension right now in the Middle East. And why is that? Because this is the Middle East is where the Lord is going to gather all these different nations for war. All right? This is where the next world war is going to take place at, the Middle East. Okay? And right now, it's getting harder and harder and harder. You even have most of the Euphrates River drying up, which is a prophecy. Which is a prophecy in Revelation. Okay? The times we're coming into ain't no pretty time. We're in the time of war. For our people to still be caught up in this world, trying to build an establishment in this world, trying to do something for themselves. All right, you have no idea what's coming down the line, man. All right, but before I get into this, read a little bit of this article, I want to first start this lesson off by reading the book of Esdras, second Esdras 15 and 28. It says, "Behold, in horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east." Right. So this is Esdras receiving a vision. All right, he received a series of visions. In this vision that he saw, he says, the appearance thereof from the east. The appearance thereof from the east is referring to the Middle East. Okay, because this is where this next world war is going to take place. Let's bring out the book of Joel, the 3rd chapter, and we're going to start at the 3rd verse. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." Right, and the Lord is doing that through this word. He's bringing the tribes back together. All right, through this truth. Okay. It says, "I will also gather all nations, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Right, so the Lord he said he's going to gather all nations. All nations were to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the Middle East. The valley of Jehoshaphat, the Hebrew word is Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. The Lord is going to bring these nations into that region, and he's going to plead with them, which that word plead means judge. He's going to judge them. Why? Well, as we continue reading, it says, "And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel," because all nations had a hand in putting the Lord's people in captivity. All right, all nations had a hand on oppressing the Lord's people. Okay, so the Lord, the beginning of these heathen judgment, before they go into captivity, the Lord is gonna gather them in the Middle East. All right, where a lot of these nations are gonna die, man. A lot of soldiers that are sent out there are going to die. Okay, they're gonna fight each other, and in the midst of them fighting each other, our Lord Yahweh Shai is gonna appear, our salvation. And they're gonna stop fighting each other, and they're gonna try to fight our Lord Yahweh Shai, which they're gonna lose miserably. But it says, again, "And will plead with them there for my people, and for my heritage Israel," because this is all it's about. It's all about the Lord's people. This is why this war is going to take place. This is for Israel's sake. That's why Yahweh Shai said, when you hear of wars, rumors of wars, and right now we see wars going on throughout the world. All right, we hear a rumor of World War III, which eventually is going to come true, which eventually not going to be a rumor no more. That's why the Lord said, be not afraid. Don't be terrified. All right, because the world is terrified. People here in America are scared to be drafted, man. They don't want to go out and fight. They don't want to fight in this next world war. Okay? But these people are in a fight, man. But for us, we're not supposed to be afraid. We're supposed to rejoice because all this is going to happen for our sakes, man. All right? So it says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And how did these nations scatter us? Through what you call the slave trade. Okay? Because these nations, they took our land. Right now we've seen these Ishmaelites and these small hatters fighting over land that does not belong to either of them. Okay? Here it is, you have the Ishmaelites that were dwelling on our land, and then throughout the period of time after World War II, you had these small hatters going into Israel, stealing, taking the land from the Ishmaelites, kicking the Ishmaelites out of their land. Okay, and ever since then, ever since Israel's been established, all right, the so-called people of the Most High came back to their land. You had war. These nations have been fighting ever since. Okay, trying to take our land amongst themselves, man. You have Ishmael and these small hatters that live in our land, dividing our land up to themselves. Okay, but that land does not belong to either of them. Okay, so it says let me see well that was it. The main part I really want to read is the book of 2nd Ezra 15 and 2nd Ezra 15:28 on down. But before I read that, let's read a little bit of this article, because there's a lot of tension in the Middle East, man. Okay, there's a lot of wars, rumors of wars, a lot of threats, but eventually it's gonna get popping. Okay, all we're waiting for is that charagma, because that's the main prophecy that has to take place. But as it says from RT News, Iran warns U.S. of new fronts in the Middle East. Washington reluctance to change course could lead to a region-wide escalation. Foreign Minister Hassan has said the U.S. could face dire consequences in the Middle East if it continues to support Israel. Right, and what's that ultimate desired consequence? That America and Israel will be totally destroyed. Okay, it will totally be set on fire. Let's read the book of real quick. Let's go to Jeremiah. It says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon. Right, and Babylon is referring to America, not ancient Babylon, which is Iraq. Okay, this is referring to the modern day Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, or Babylon the Great. It says, and his purpose that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. What is the least of the flock? The least of the flock is you small hatters, all right, that are currently in our land. All right, it says, shall draw them out. Surely he shall make the habitation desolate with them. Because we see how America supports Israel. They heavily support Israel. They heavily back Israel, and this is what is going to cause America and Israel to be destroyed, to be desolate. Okay, because Israel they have a enemy, a main enemy, and their main enemy is Iran. Iran has been talking how they want to annihilate and destroy Israel, which eventually they're going to. Okay, as well as America. But America backs Israel. Look at how the support America is showing Israel, sending them money, sending their soldiers in their region, ready to back them up, ready to fight for them. But when it's time for them to invade Iran, okay, when it's time for them to go into Iran, okay, you have Russia that's going to be a guard onto Iran. That's going to protect Iran. All right, you're not gonna America, the West is what the Russians call it. They're not gonna let America do Iran like they did Iraq or Afghanistan or these other countries. You saw a prelude of that with Syria. They wanted to take Assad, which was the leader of Syria, out of his presidency, out of his seat. But Russia stepped in and defended Syria, was a guard. So the same thing's gonna happen with Iran. When Israel and Iran, when Israel and America invade Iran, that's gonna lead to World War III, man. Russia ain't gonna have it, as well as China, because a lot of these nations, Russia and China, they got a lot of money invested into Iran. Okay, they're allies, man. They've been doing a lot of drills in the Persian Gulf region, a lot of Navy drills. They've been having the military work together. Okay, so Slakia, it says, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. Right, so both the land of Israel and the land of America will be destroyed. They will both be desolate. That's the desired consequence. Okay, that's the consequence that's gonna happen to these two nations. So it says the U.S. could face dire consequence in the Middle East if it continues to support Israel, because that's what's gonna lead to this place being destroyed, which is at the end of the day all the purpose and plans of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. The Lord is stirring things up. He's making things happen. He's working on these leaders' minds. Okay, the stage is already being set for World War III to take place. All that needs to happen is the Charagma. Okay, it says, Iran foreign minister has warned. His comments came amid the ongoing conflict between Israel and the Palestinian armed group, and following American strikes on military sites in the region allegedly used by Tehran's forces. If the United States continues what it has been doing so far, then new fronts will be opened against the United States. And this guy, the foreign minister, he said this in the UN, which the UN was in New York, I believe. Let me see. Wait, forgive me. This is another. Well, he said this in South Africa, but he also went to the UN and mentioned he spoke against America's actions and what will happen to America. Another statement, I believe, it said that America will be showed basically no mercy. Well, yeah, U.S. will not be spared if Israel, Hamas, and if Israel and the so-called Palestinian war escalates. Okay, that was another statement. This is a new statement that he said. Okay, that was it on that. I don't need to read more. Okay, let's show you this one. U.S. will not be spared if Israel and the so-called Palestinian war escalates. It says Iran foreign minister has accused Washington of managing the genocide in Palestine. He spoke this in October 26, 2023 in New York, in the United Nations headquarters. Okay, so U.S. will not be spared. All right, so the tensions are hot. All right, it's hot in the Middle East. So let's go back. Let's read the book of 2nd Esdras, and we'll end it on that if no other pieces come to mind. So 2nd Esdras 15 and 28. It says, behold, an horrible vision in the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. Right. So the nations and the dragons of Arabia represent these different Ishmaelite, which The dragons of Arabia, the Arabians today are Ishmael. Okay? So the dragon of Arabia is these different Arab nations. All right, when you go into what word Arab, I believe the Hebrew word is Arab, which means mixture or mixture of people or mixed. Okay? And the Arab nations are a mixture of different Arab groups. Okay? When it speaks of the chariots, it's referring to their armies. Okay? So where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon the earth, that they which hear them may fear and tremble. Verse 30. It says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So the Carmanians are the Persians, Iran, which Iran, the Persians, they're not Ishmael, but they're Elam. They come from Elam. Okay, so you're gonna have Elam, which the Persians and the different Ishmaelite nations. They're gonna join forces. They're gonna join league, and this is why you see Iran. They're backing up these different Arab nations, man, because they all have one common enemy, and that's Esau, Edom, the devil. Okay, which is trying to take away their home, destroy their home, bring in a democracy, and they're not with that, man. They're not with the shit that goes on in the West. They're not with that over there in the Middle East. The Middle East is a whole different lifestyle over here, man. This is why you have flocks of a lot of people leaving, a lot of people from Iran, a lot of people from different Ishmaelite countries. They come over here in America. They settle here, especially the women. You'll see the women. They'll first wear they'll first cover their head. They may keep their Ishmaelite attire. I'll just say it like that. But then eventually down the line, the longer they're here, the longer they learn their ways, they start becoming more like American women, wearing dress. Wearing pants. And eventually they won't even cover their head no more. Okay. But the Middle East, they're not with that, man. And that's why they're going to join forces. And we're seeing that, man. You have Iran backing these different Ishmaelite nations up. Okay, and when this next world war takes place, best believe they're gonna come against America, which represents Assyria. So let's read that last part again, verse 30. It says, also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. And what happens when you corner a wild boar? They go berserk, man. They tear shit up. They're very powerful and feisty animals, man. Okay, very aggressive. Okay, and here it is. Throughout the years, we've been seeing America cornering Iran. There's a lot of tension in the Persian Gulf between Iranian Navy and American Navy, man. A lot of tension. You had Iranian taking U.S. ships, U.S. oil ships. Okay, you had a lot of standoffs, a lot of shots, warning shots between these two different nations. Okay, but eventually it's gonna turn into a full-out war, man. Right now they're taunting each other. Right now they're sizing each other up, man. But eventually they're gonna go into war. But eventually they're gonna fight these different. They're gonna fight, man. Okay. So it says, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, right? Join battle with the Arabians, with Ishmael, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And how are they gonna do that? They're gonna do that through the nuclear missiles, man. All right, they're gonna shoot missiles at this place and the land of Israel, especially the land of Israel, but as well as America, man. Okay, and that's why America and Israel, they'll not be spared. Okay, they will be shown no mercy. Okay, it says, and then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, right, man? And like when you compare the war of Iraq and Afghanistan, you had I'll mention Iraq, the battle of Fallujah, battle of I don't know how to spell it, sauce. Falua. All right. It says 82 U.S. service members died during a streets, house by house effort to clear Al Qaeda from the city, making Fallujah the deadliest battle involving U.S. Marines since Vietnam, and the defining chapter of war that will continue for years to come. Right, because throughout the years you had a lot of wars between, you know, America and these different Ishmael nations, and a lot of American soldiers died, man. Especially in Afghanistan, a lot of American soldiers died in Afghanistan, man. Okay, fighting these Ishmaelites, fighting it in their territory. And you gotta think about it. You're in their house. You're in their territory. They know it more than you. You're a foreigner. You know? You're over here coming from another country, having no idea of the terrain. You may hear in the reports of your enemy and who you're facing, but real soon when this war comes, all right, when this war comes, Esau is gonna have the, Ishmael is gonna have the upper hand. Remember their nature. What is their nature? All right. Let me finish this verse, and then we'll go into what the nature is. It says, "If they shall return themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them." Okay. So, let's go to the book of Genesis. (16 and 11), it says, "And the angel of the Lord said unto her, Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son. It shall call his name Ishmael, because the Lord hath heard thy affliction." Okay, and when you go into the word Ishmael, it is Yashemai Allah, which means the Most High will hear, or God hears. Okay. So it says, and he will be this is the point, verse 12. "And he will be a wild man, his hand will be against every man, and every man's hands against him. He shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren." Let's read this in the NLT. It says, "This son of yours will be a wild man, as untamed as a wild donkey." Here, right? Here it is. You see Esau trying to bring in democracy, trying to change Ishmael ways, but Ishmael ain't having it. Like I said, Ishmael will fight tooth and nail, even being martyrs. You know, they'll call themselves martyring themselves. Okay, you have Ishmael that have a suicide bomb and sacrifice themselves just to take away their enemy. That's wild, man. Okay, that's wild. So it says, "He will raise his fist against everyone, and everyone will be against him. Yes, he will live in open hostility against all his relatives." Okay, which the mother of Ishmael was Hagar, which was a servant of Sarah. Okay, that Abraham lied because Sarah couldn't at that time have a child. So she gave Abraham her servant, which was Hagar, and they bear Ishmael. All right, so let's go back to 2nd Ezra 15 and 30. It says, not 30, 32 says, "Then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings." Right, so when it says from the land of the Assyrians. The land of the Assyrians is America, all right, in their land. All right, you hear things of sleeper cells. You hear all the things that's going on in their borders and all that. You're seeing a bunch of Iranians, a bunch of different Ishmaelites coming through the border. All right, a lot of people are warning that's gonna cause very terrible events here in America. That's all I gotta say, because you have sleeper cells, all right, that are probably already here, waiting for the right moment or right time or the call. Okay, where they're gonna attack attack people here, man. Attack America, man. From inside its own land. So let's read that again. It says, and from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them and consume some of them. So, like I said, you have sleeper cells throughout here in America. All right. It says, and their host shall be fear and dread and strife among their kings, because amongst the government, okay, it's gonna be, like it says, it's gonna be fear and dread, because how did they allow this to happen? Okay, how did they allow all this to happen, man? How did the enemy touch America? Because America, they're very proud. All right, they'll boast how they never been touched by a foreign country, but that's all gonna change real soon. What America do to the other countries is going to happen over here, man. These people are gonna experience it. America's gonna experience what you've been doing to these countries all these years. All right, so reading on, it says, behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm. The clouds of storm is referring to the armies. Okay, you could go back to prove that, you could go to Ezekiel 38 and 9. Okay, but with that, the point was made. All right, terrible times is coming. All right, like we read in 33, the land of Assyrians, you can have people here, and you're gonna have people here that are gonna experience what it's like to be attacked by a foreign nation. Okay, you're experience, America's gonna experience the wrath of the Ishmaelites and the wild nature. They're gonna experience the wrath of the Carmenians, which are the Elamites, the Iranians. All right, and this is the times we're coming into, and this was a vision that Ezra saw. So, Lord willing, you're edified with this lesson. I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kadash. Shalom.